Alright, so quite a few people have been asking for a demo on the Cold Iron Vanquisher for quite a while, and I decided I'd finally get around to it. So, without further ado, we'll take a closer look at the weapon. And one of the Cold Iron Vanquisher's most noticeable effects is that whirlwind that's constantly spinning around the sword. Now, besides the whirlwind, the sword also has a chain that's always twisting around it, and the sword's color scheme of blue and silver go quite well together. Now, near the hilt of the sword, you'll see a skeleton cyclops head with a light blue eye in the middle, and overall I'd say this is one of the best looking swords in Spiral Knights, detail wise. Now for the sword's basic attack you have 3 swipes, with the second and third swipes propelling you forward, and for the charge attack you have a 360-degree spin. So when you release it you spin around in a 360-degree circle and you knock back any enemies that are around you. And I'll be sure to touch more on that a little bit later. But before we get to that, we're going to take a closer look at some of the sword's stats and features. So first off, the Cold Iron Vanquisher deals pure normal damage. The sword has that 360-degree spin, which we'll cover later, and the sword also has a natural damage bonus of high versus the undead family. And we'll be taking a look at all of those and a little bit more. Now, because the Cold Iron Vanquisher deals pure normal damage, we're always going to be dealing average damage to any monster in Spiral Knights. Now this is kind of a good thing and also a bad thing. It's a good thing because we'll never have to worry about dealing horrible damage, but we'll never be able to deal great damage. Now since the sword has that natural damage bonus of high versus the undead family, people are naturally going to want to be using it against the undead family. Now as you can see here, it's doing a pretty good job of taking care of these guys. We're getting 213 damage. But I wouldn't really suggest getting this sword with the sole intent of taking on undeads. There are other weapons that can do it much better. And now we'll take a closer look at the Cold Iron Vanquisher's charge. And the cool thing about this charge is that it can hit an enemy up to 3 times if they're standing still or if their movement is blocked. So for example, I hit that crystal with 1 charge and it was instantly reduced to the small size. Same thing with an enemy. If the enemy is standing still, I can hit them and I'll get up to 3 charges off on them. Now as you can see here, with the Shankle I was only able to get 2, but that's because it only had enough health to give up 2. Another cool thing about this charge is that it has great knockback. As you can see there, I was surrounded by those slags, and I let loose a charge and it threw them all backwards. And if you are interested in getting the Cold Iron Vanquisher, you'll first need to get your hands on a caliber. Then you can take your caliber to a tempered caliber. Then you can take your tempered to a Cold Iron Carver. And finally, you can take your Cold Iron Carver to a Cold Iron Vanquisher. And thanks for watching the video, guys. I'll see you in Spiral Knights.